It was announced this morning that Tom Brady will not be returning to the New England Patriots. It seemed like it ended on good terms. Tom Brady announced, he put a tweet out saying, "A Patriot forever." Robert Kraft said that Tom has been a son to him and always will be. And I think that's great. I'm glad it ended on such good terms. I'm glad there's no hostility there. I think every ride, has to come to an end eventually. For Tom Brady, I don't blame him. I can't blame him. He did so much for his organization, giving 20 years to the team almost, and winning them, was it 5 or 6 Super Bowls? The man gave his heart and soul to that team, and you really can't blame him for leaving. The team's on a decline. Julian Edelman, his main receiver, is like 33 years old. And honestly, New England isn't really a hotspot for isn't an ideal place to go. It's cold. Massachusetts, it's cold a lot of the months of the year. Bill Belichick also, just look at it from him being just a human being, don't look at it from a team or what. He's been working with the same coach for almost 20 years, the same general manager, team owner for 20 years, and Bill Belichick isn't really a likable guy. No one really, when you say guys that you're excited to play for, I don't think Bill Belichick's really one of them. I don't know, no one really wants to go play for Bill Belichick on the grounds of he's a fun guy and you like talking to him. I've heard stories of Julian Edelman just walking past him, and Bill Belichick doesn't even say anything to him. Bill seems like he's all business and no fun, and I don't see how Tom Brady can even really enjoy being there. And I think he felt indebted to be there, and I think he's going to take his talent somewhere else. Well, he is going to. So kind of like what LeBron did. LeBron left Cleveland after winning them an NBA championship and moved out to LA. Where of course LeBron's going to be an actor, and he has a bunch of kids now that are in sports. But Tom Brady, I don't blame him for leaving. Now, where this leaves his playing, his career, it's tough. I don't know. I think there's 3 teams really in the mix now. And honestly, I think it's down to 2. And I'll throw in one extra one, too, in there that really hasn't been in the conversation, but I think has an actual chance to get him. I think teams that have a really good chance, I think the best one is LA Chargers. The LA Chargers, they don't have a quarterback right now. Phillip Rivers gone in free agency. They parted ways. They have Tyrod Taylor as their quarterback. He's the backup, or I guess he's the starter for now. You got Teddy Bridgewater. I thought was going to go there. I made that prediction that he was going to go to the Chargers, and he actually just signed a few minutes ago to Carolina, a 3-year, $60 million contract with Carolina, which opened up Cam Newton to get in trade talks. So there's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of moving pieces this offseason. But I think the Chargers are a great place for Tom Brady to go. They have a great defense. They got Watts. They got they got a lot of players there that can play. Their offense is pretty stacked. They have Austin Eckler, where I'm going to compare this kind of to his New England team. You have Austin Eckler, can be his James White, probably a better option than James White, truthfully, as a running back. But Austin Eckler can be his James White. Keenan Allen can be his Julian Edelman, a great route runner, bigger route runner, honestly. And that's what you need in this offense, is the guy that can run the option route and someone who's a good slot receiver, and that's what Keenan Allen can be. Keenan Allen can also play outside, but still, I think that's a good comparison to Julian Edelman. Mike Williams can play pretty much any big receiver that Tom Brady has had. Went through his Josh Gordons and his Chris Hogan's, which is not very good, but still, Mike Williams is a good big receiver that can be a good red zone threat. Hunter Henry could be his Gronk, not as good as Gronk, obviously, but Hunter Henry is still a really good tight end, probably a top five tight end in the NFL when healthy. And the only thing they're really missing from that kind of offense, from the kind of layout they had in New England, is they need a big back, and there's plenty of options on free agency. You have Frank Gore, who, of course, he's really old, but he still showed last year that he can play a little bit. And Jordan Howard has been pretty good. He was pretty good for the Eagles last year, and I doubt he returns because they want to get Miles Sanders more touches and stuff there. So I think Jordan Howard could be a good option there for the LA Chargers. Another team would be the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, they just signed Marcus Mariota, which kind of makes me think that's not going to happen. But I just feel like they hate Derek Carr more than anything, because there's no reason to sign Marcus Mariota. I don't think Derek Carr is that bad of a quarterback. I think he checks down way too much, and he's too safe. kind of like how Alex Smith has been in the past. Reminds me a lot of him, but still a good quarterback. You can still put a winning team around there. So they just signed Marcus Mariota. Apparently they hate Derek Carr. And I mean they have some pretty okay weapons. I mean Josh Jacobs I think is going to be a really, really good running back in the NFL. Darren Waller is their tight end. I mean, he had a great season last year, but besides that season, he hasn't really done anything at all in the NFL noteworthy. Tyrell Williams was injured last year and kind of disappointed as their big offseason piece that they picked up last year. And Hunter Renfrow showed good promise in his rookie season and had some big plays, caught a good amount of touchdowns. So you have some good weapons there. I mean, and the other team that I think has a good chance is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They're a weird fit stylistically with Arians being a vertical play caller. And I mean, you saw it last year. He made Jameis Winston a 30 touchdown, but 30 pick, quarterback. But that's another team with great offensive weapons. You got Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, who are both 1,000-yard receivers, pushing double-digit touchdowns last year. O.J. Howard, who didn't really do a lot last year, but in the past has shown that he's a pretty good tight end. And same thing with Cameron Brate. Cameron Brate was a good, red zone tight end, a good red zone option. And the team's defense is pretty bad, truthfully. It's not a good defense, but they went 7-9 with Jameis Winston throwing those 30 touchdowns, 30 interceptions. So it definitely seems like a place where he can step in. And listen, if Jameis Winston cuts those touchdowns to half, which is 15, which is still be pretty high, the Buccaneers might have made the playoffs, truthfully. They might have made the playoffs. So, it's kind of one of those things where he could step in and he could maybe be the piece that makes Tampa Bay a playoff team. Then one other team that I want to say I think could be in the mix would be the Jacksonville Jaguars. And of course, Jacksonville would have to trade Nick Foles, which I think is going to happen regardless. They still have Gardner Minshew, who I think showed he was pretty okay. Like he has a lot of promise. Because, with rookie quarterbacks, you get two things. You get can't play really at all, or you get can either really good, medium, where like I think Gardner Minshew kind of mixed, like in the middle, where if he has more time under his belt, he can definitely become a pretty okay starter. Like he could be the next guy maybe, or one of those bridge guys. Because, he didn't even get time. Nick Foles was a starter and broke his collarbone. So Gardner Minshew as a rookie stepped in when probably wasn't expecting to even play and had some pretty good games there. Had some not so great, but held his own pretty well. So, I could see them moving on from Nick Foles, keeping Gardner Minshew as the backup, the study behind Brady. He's still on his rookie contract, of course. And, Brady has some good weapons there, too. I mean, you have DJ Chark, who just did pretty good. D.D. Westbrook, if they re-sign or bring back the running back that I can't think of, Leonard Fournette, he had a pretty good year last year, too. And, you have good weapons there as well. And the defense is starting to fall apart, but I could see that possibly being an option for Tom Brady. But all in all, I think the best place for him to go would be the LA Chargers. They have a really good defense. They have good weapons all around that really, like I said, they fit the mold of what he ran in New England. So I think the LA Chargers would be the best fit for Tom Brady in 2020.